Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC 301 Pantoja versus Erceg. We back with another breakdown. Sadly, it's of a fucking fight night. I don't know when they started putting numbers on fight nights because this ain't a pay-per-view. Like, this is a fight night that they want $80 for, which is bullshit. This is not worth $50. This is this is your main event. All respect to Erceg, he did not. This champion, no one cares about your main event. This is a great fight. Like, Maddie Martinez, you didn't love. You had to dig up Aldo to sell 5 pay-per-views, but like, come on. Like, this is a pay-per-view that follows up 300. On paper, it's a joke, and I know I said the same thing for the card last week, which turned out to be amazing. Can the UFC get lucky twice? Yes. Will it happen? Probably fucking not. This will probably be an average card. So, I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see, But first, before we see how the card plays out, we have to, of course, break it down. So, enough of me rambling. Let's get into the breakdown. Before I do, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And unless I'm going to say something, we got 14 fights in total. Long card. Hopefully it's a good one. Unless I'm going to say something. You want to break down some fights? I fucked that up. You want to break down some fights? I do. Kind of. Let's do it. We have 14 fights in total, and we start in the men's flyweight division with a very decent fight. Should be a very fun fight open night. We start with the weight class that's going to end the night, and we begin the night with Alessandro Nono Costa versus Kevin Borjas. Fun fight between two very good prospects. Very fun way to start the night. It's going to be a fun fight. These two are going to throw down and have a really entertaining fight. Which, again, I said this last week, I do like that UFC has been trying to start the card with more entertaining fights lately instead of your normal shitty fight. That's something should the worst fight in the card open the card? To an extent, you could say yes, but at the same time, I don't mind starting the card with a fight that's actually good. So, yeah. But let's talk about Alessandro Costa first. Costa in the UFC is 1-2. His one win is Jimmy Flick, and his 2 losses are Amir Albazi and Steve Erceg. We can't get mad at those 2 losses. Fucking, this could be the next flyweight title fight, because Albazi should fight the winner of the main event on this card. But I'll talk about that in the recap on Sunday. Costa's very good. When he did fight someone more down the skill gap in Jimmy Flick, he looked amazing. It was a flawless victory. But like when he fights Amir Albazi and Steve Erceg, 2 of the best fighters in the division, of course he's gonna lose. And he didn't even look bad in those fights. He looked passable against Albazi. He made it to the 3rd round on short notice in his debut. And then against Erceg, he looked decent. Like he literally looked decent against the guy who's main eventing the fucking card. So I guess that could be a giant confidence boost for him. So he didn't look too bad in that fight, because he's not a bad fighter. He's very solid. Really good leg kicks, good striking. Got ground game. He's a really solid fighter. Definitely, as he does improve more, I won't be shocked if he is a top 15 dude. I think he has the potential. I get the 1-2 record ain't great, but when you really look into those 2 L's, again, it's to the dude who probably is gonna fight for the belt next, or should, and the dude who's main eventing the card. So, and his one win is against a guy he should have easily beat, and he did. So it just shows when he does get the chance to fight someone lower down, he does good. It's just so far he's been thrown into these 2 really tough fights that he was not able to win right now. If they rematch in a couple, let's just say hypothetically they did rematch him and Erceg, him and Albazi, I think it'd be a lot more competitive, especially the Albazi fight since he stepped on short notice. So I don't know. I think Costa's good. it's good to see him back. I think he's part of that Diego Lopez. I think he trains with Diego Lopez. Yeah, Alexa Grasso, Irene Aldana. Fuck, why did my voice crack twice saying Aldana? But yeah, just to train with people like Lopez, Aldana, Grasso is even more of a boost, because that's one of the hottest camps in MMA right now. You got a champion, you got Lopez, who's one of the hottest fighters in the UFC, Irene, all that. So come from a great camp, that really does help also. To talk about his opponent, Kevin Borjas. Kevin in UFC is 0-1, coming off the Contender Series where he did look really good. In his UFC debut, he did not get an easy fight either, where he did lose to Joshua Van on the same card as Costa Erceg, funny enough. Yeah, you can't get mad at that debut, especially since he did look really good. He looked great in round 1. He dropped Josh Van, which, like, we know Van is a slow starter, and he does kind of win by just overwhelming his opponents later in the fight. And this was another case of that. Borjas looked really good in round 1, but then Van came back and just beat him up in the last 2 rounds. And can you really get mad at that? No, because Joshua Van is going to be, like, when we talk about Van in a couple years, he's going to be a top 5, top 10 dude, if not even a fucking champion. He's just, oh, I can't wait for his next fight. But for Borjas, he is a good prospect. I don't think he's to the level of Josh Van yet, or someone along those lines, but he's good. He on Contender Series, he did show a lot of talent. He got thrown to the wolves around his debut in MSG, no less. So it's like, yeah, so now he goes into enemy territory to fight another really good prospect. So the UFC ain't giving Borjas any easy fights. I'll say that much. But I guess they do see something in this dude, because he does have potential. He does have talent. If he did fix his gas tank, this fight will be very interesting. But if he goes into this fight and as a 1-round fighter again, then we're going to have some issues. But if he did get better since the last fight, he hasn't had much time to. Fucking 5 months? So he's not had a lot of time to improve, but enough to get a little better. So if he can at least come to this fight with a little bit better of a gas tank, then it will be a lot more interesting of a fight. But if he's a 1-round fighter again, it could look a lot like the Joshua Van fight. So, but overall, very fun fight to start the night between 2 great prospects. The betting odds have Alessandro Costa -140 to +115. Hard to disagree. You can move Costa up even a little more to 150, 160 at most. I think I like 150. I think Costa's the better fighter. Like, what's the height and all that? Oh, Borjas is taller. I would not have thought that. I think Costa's a better fighter. On the feet, I think his low kicks are really going to cause Borjas problems. I think they're both very good strikers. I think Borjas might have the power advantage, but the one of the biggest concerns that I was just talking about, if Borjas is going to be gassing after round 1 again, he's going to need to get the finish in round 1, which he's not. I don't see him finishing it. If Albazi couldn't do it in round 1, or fuck round 2 even, I don't think Borjas will. So, like, could Borjas land that shot? Because he did drop Van, like I said, but he dropped him. I don't think he rocked him more than he just dropped him a little bit. So, could he land the lucky shot and finish Costa if he does come in here with a weak gas tank again? Yes. But if that's his game plan going into a fight with someone that's Costa's level, good luck. You're going to need it. So, my pick here is going to be Alessandro Costa. I think, like I said, I think he'll be able to be the better fighter. Also, I didn't even fucking talk about on the ground. I think he's the better fighter. Like I said, he trains with Diego fucking Lopez, one of the best grapplers in the UFC. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Costa here. I think he will be able to be the better fighter. At home, he'll love to open night for them. Hopefully he doesn't get like feels the pressure, gets nervous and all that shit, because that definitely, we've seen that happen to many fighters in the past. Do I think that'll happen to Costa? Probably not. Like, dude fought in MSG in his last fight, so yeah. But I'm gonna go Costa here. I think he should be able to win, especially if he might lose round 1, but he should be able to survive round 1 and win round 2 and 3, or if not, even get a finish in those rounds. So my pick here is gonna be Alessandro Costa by decision. I could see this being a lot like the Josh Van fight, But who knows, maybe Borjas shows a good gas tank and able to go all 15, look good, and get the decision. You never know. But I'm going to go Costa by decision. Think he should be able to be the better fighter and get his second win in the UFC. So, at home. So I'm going Costa by decision. Fun way to start the night. Can't complain. In our second fight of the night, we have a fight I'm breaking down for the second time. I broke this fight down when it first was booked, but it did get canceled the day before. I talk about that in 1 second. Well, in our second fight of the night, in the lightweight division, we have a fight that will probably not go 15 minutes, and it'll probably be very fun. As we have Ismael Marata Bonfim versus Vinc from Hell Pichel. This is the second time this fight has been booked, and the second time I'm breaking it down, because this was meant to happen on the Almeida Lewis card, which was in Brazil in, I think, what was it, November, October, but Ismael did miss weight, and the fight got cancelled. This time, we try again. Hopefully Ismael actually makes weight. So, yeah, second time is charm. Like I said, I've already broke this down once. If you want to see my first breakdown of this, like I said, it's the Luis Almeida card. I might put it in the fucking Notion, whatever. You'll see. But yeah, I definitely am hoping this actually happens this time, so I'm not wasting my breath. So, but let's talk about the guy who got it canceled the first time, Ismael Bonfim. Ismael in the UFC is 1-1, coming out of Contender Series. In his UFC debut, he knocked out Terrence McKinney, and in his last fight, he did fight Benoit Saint Denis and get embarrassed. I made this tweet yesterday, and it definitely got some controversial. A lot of people are not agreeing with it, but it's crazy to think that a year ago, Ismael and Gabriel were two of the hottest prospects in the UFC. A year later, Ismael just lost to Benoit, missed weight, and is now fighting an old man, and Gabriel got fraud checked by Dalby. So it's crazy how quick these two went from hot prospects to frauds like that. MMA moves really fast, and everything people say, you lost to Benoit, how is he a fraud? I get what you're saying there, but in the same breath, he didn't look good in that fight. And against Benoit, who, like, is very good. I'm not calling Benoit a fraud because I'm not a fucking idiot. But, like, he looked terrible in that fight. He got pretty much manhandled. And against a guy like Benoit, who literally always takes damage, like, win, lose, or draw, he's always getting cut up or hit. Like, all I remember is Benoit taking him down and subbing him, so he didn't look good in that fight. But, and then if we go back to that McKinney fight, well, over a year ago in Brazil, that was the moment where, like, okay, these Bonfim guys are good. And then they both fucking lose their next fight. So, I don't know, maybe, like, have we seen fighters come back from being called a fraud? Yes, I could probably think of many off the top of my head. But do I think the Bonfim boys are those that level? Maybe Ismael. I definitely do think Ismael is the way better fighter than Gabriel. Gabriel is not good. Ismael has some ability. It's just A, make weight, and B, can he show improvements? Because his ground game looked terrible. And Pichel is going to probably try and take him down. A good chance, especially if you watch a Benoit fight, you're gonna try and take him down. So I don't know. This is definitely a moment for Ismael to turn the tables on someone like me who's calling him a fraud. But, like, even if he does win this, I'm not going to change my mind. You beat up a 42-year-old man, but let's see what you can do. With the spotlight on you again, you're the only one on this card, your brother ain't, and you and your brother need to get back in the win column. So, can you, because Gabriel's booked later in the year, can Ismael start a new wave for the Bonfim boys? We'll see. So, like, and Ismael does have a talent. His striking's good. He has some good power, but that ground game, man, looked fucking terrible. Let's see what he can do. Against his 42-year-old opponent, Vinc Pichel, or 41-year-old, one of the oldest dudes on the roster who's only had fucking 10 fights. He is 7-3 in the UFC. His 7 wins are that guy. Anthony Joaquim, Silva, who's funny enough on the card, Roosevelt Roberts, Jim Miller, and Austin Hubbard. His 3 losses are Rustam Kapilov, Gregor Gillespie, and Mark Madsen. It's crazy that this dude's been in the UFC since 2012 and he's had 10 fights. Like, how have you been in the UFC for 12 years and you've had 10 fights? Like, he has so many cancellations, especially lately. Like, so many cancellations. That's crazy. He's not fought since early 2022 where he looked terrible against Mark Madsen. So, I don't know. He's just cannon fodder in this fight. We don't need to lie to ourselves. We all know why they're doing this fight, to get Ismael back on track. Because he should easily win this fight against a 41-year-old Vinc Pichel, who he's just not a great fighter. So, yeah, I don't know. We know why this fight's happening. Pichel's not very good. Ismael is way younger. What's the age difference here? 28 to 41. It's crazy. That's not the biggest age gap on this card. But, yeah, we know why this is happening. I don't even know how Pichel would really win this fight. Take him down? I don't think he could do that for 15 minutes, to be honest with you, so see what happens. The betting odds here have Ismael Bonfim minus 450 to plus 350. Yeah, it's kind of hard to disagree. You could put him up to minus 500 even. He should win this fight. I don't see any value in betting Pichel. I don't think there's any chance he really wins this fight. He's not going to finish Bonfim. He's probably not going to wrestle him on into a decision. Most likely Ismael is going to finish him, and I would be shocked if he didn't, to be honest. So it would look worse if he didn't. So yeah, I'm going to go Ismael Bonfim, and I'm going to go by knockout in the... I picked the second round for the first time I did this fight. I'm trying to... I'm going to go the first round. I think Ismael's gonna be pissed off, trying to just go in there and beat up Pichel, and I think he's going to. So I'm gonna go Ismael Bonfim by knockout in the first. He should be able to run through Pichel. If he doesn't, it's gonna look really bad. It could make him look even worse. So Bonfim by knockout in the first. You should be able to finish Pichel pretty easily. He's very old and been off for 2 years. I don't think come on. So I'm going Ismael Bonfim by knockout first. I really don't see an upset happening here. So yeah. After that, we head to our third fight of the night in the women's flyweight division. Pretty much a contender series fight, as we have Dione the Witch Barbosa versus Ernesta heavy-handed Kareckaite. I know I said that wrong. Yeah, this is pretty debut versus debut. We never know really what to expect with these, do we? So, debut versus debut. Let's start with Barbosa. Barbosa, like I said, UFC debut. Coming off contender series where she looked good, beating Rain Guerrero. She looked good. She's a jiu-jitsu fighter. She wants to get to the ground, and if she can, she's gonna win. I believe she trained with like Chris Cyborg or some shit. Cause I'm pretty sure I saw it, they talked about that on contender series. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure she trains with Cyborg, or she's friends with Cyborg, something along those lines. But yeah, not very much to say. She got to the ground pretty quickly and won. So, yeah, she wants to get to the ground. I like that. I don't got the blue belt, all that. Don't gotta say much. Her wins are either submissions or decisions. She ain't finishing anyone by TKO. So, to talk about her opponent, Ernesta again, making her UFC debut, coming off contender series. She had the best fight of the season last year with Curly Judice. Just an amazing fight, the best fight of the season. Both deserved the contract and both got it. She had a fun fight, but I didn't see the heavy-handedness of her nickname. She never dropped Judice for as many times as she fucking hit her. But yeah, she's very tall for flyweight, 5'9". she showed good. She showed us some striking ability. Again, I didn't see much power, but that's that. She's gonna want to keep it on her feet here, obviously, because like you see what she's doing in her free time, boxing and kickboxing and all that. She ain't doing no fucking grappling, and we all know where Barbosa wants to go. So yeah. Yeah, shit breakdown for this fight, but it's 2 debuting fighters. So what do you want me to say? The betting odds for this fight have Barbosa minus 220 to plus 180 I get it. I'd probably move Barbosa down a little bit to maybe like minus 195, 190. She should win this fight if she can get to the ground. What's the size? 5'6", so 3 inches taller and a little big reach advantage. Interesting. Yeah, this fight's super obvious how to really call it. If it's on the feet, Ernesta's gonna win. If it's on the ground, Barbosa's gonna win. Really don't need to say much there. I think it's pretty cut and dry. It's just, where do I think this fight's gonna go? You got 2 very inexperienced debuting fighters. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. People are going to really I feel like we're going to see some parlays busted with this fight if you have either one of them in your parlay, which I don't know why you would. I think that's a very dangerous game you're playing. I would not put either in a parlay or bet either. I think it's very risky. So, but who am I going to go with here? I think I'm going to lean Barbosa. I see her getting it to the ground. I think who looked more impressive? Barbosa on a contender series. Like, Ernesta had the best fight of the season, but that was just, let's throw down, whatever happens, happens. Barbosa got to the ground, locked in the armbar, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's a tough one to predict. I feel like no matter which way I go for this, might be wrong, but I'm gonna lean for who I think is the better fighter and who a little more experience. Like that, I believe she trained with like Cyborg or some shit, I remember. So I'm gonna go Dione Barbosa. I'm gonna go by submission in first. I could see her getting that submission, or just laying on Ernesta, like get the much taller fighter down and see what happens. So I'm gonna go Barbosa by submission in the first. Could be wrong, could be right. Not confident. See what happens. Barbosa by submission in the first. After that, we have to our fourth fight of the early prelims, a fight that probably ain't gonna go 15 minutes. With one of the guys in this fight known for having no chin, as we have in our fourth fight in the lightweight division, Mauricio one-shot Ruffy versus Jamie Mullarkey. Yeah, if Jamie Mullarkey's having a fight, you're probably not going 15 minutes. We'll see what happens, but yeah, a finish is likely. So let's start with Ruffy. Let's start with the debuting Ruffy. Ruffy coming off Contender Series where he finished that. Oh, I remember that fight. Yeah, with like fucking with like 15 seconds left. He looked great. He destroyed this dude from what I remember, and he looked good. He got to finish late, and yeah. I think this dude's like hyped up by Islam or some shit. He got fucking demolished. So yeah, Ruffy is one of those fighting nerds. Him, Caio, a bunch of other fighters. So yeah, he looked good on Contender Series. He has good power. Never went to a decision. We'll see what he can do. They're giving him a very favorable debut at home. On the card with guys like Caio and Silva. We'll see what he can do in his debut. So not very much to say. I've only seen one of his fights, and like I just talked about it, he destroyed that Russian dude on Contender Series. So yeah. To talk about his opponent, Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie in the UFC is a perfect 5-5. His 5 wins are Kama Worthy, Devontae Smith, Michael Johnson, Francisco Prado, and John McDessie. His 5 losses are Brad Riddell, Faraz Ziam, Jalen Turner, Muhammad Naimov, and Nazar Akparaz. Jamie is a weird one. Definitely the first thing you notice of him is he has no chin. Win, lose, or draw, he's probably gonna get rocked in the fight. Like the only fight I remember him not getting rocked in was the Prado fight. but like win, lose or draw in every other fight he's been rocked or just KO'd outright. Cause he has no defense. His chin's wide open. He doesn't even have a good chin to begin with. So yeah. Next, he ground game, not even a question. He doesn't have that shit. Durability, I talked about that. Gas tank, it's there. Like he's won some decisions, especially lately. Like he beat Prado, he beat Makdessi, even though that was a very close fight. People debate that decision. Like he's able to beat bad fighters, or this was a debatable decision. But every time he fights someone good, like fucking Riddell at the time, Jalen Turner, Nazrat, it never goes good for him. So that's why his best one in UFC is a debatable Michael Johnson victory. Like he has these moments in fights, but his chin keeps letting him down, especially as he's getting older and taking more damage. His chin just keeps letting him down. Like that's why Naimov knocked him out. That's why fucking Nazrat knocked him out. His chin's just terrible. Like one good punch and you're gonna rock him, if not drop him. So I don't know. Mullarkey's a weird one. I feel like I break down a fight of his every couple months. But he fights a lot. That's another thing. He does not take breaks. He always fights. The Nazrat fight was in December. It's fucking May, and he's fighting again. So respect. He fought 4 times last year, which is fucking insane. He always fights, man. Respect. It's hard not to respect that. So, but we know we're getting with Mullarkey. Chin's gonna be there. He's probably gonna get rocked. And we'll see if Ruffy's down for a brawl. He should be, because he should win that brawl. The betting after this fight have Ruffy minus 165, plus 140. Yeah, I'd probably move Ruffy up even to minus 170, 180. He should win this fight. He should be able to crack Mullarkey's chin. And I'd be more shocked if he didn't. Because, again, Mullarkey is the younger fighter by a year, but he's taken in fight age, he's way older. So that durability is just getting worse and worse, and I feel like more like every fight he gets weaker and weaker. So my pick here is gonna be Ruffy. He, like I said, he should be able to bite down the mouthpiece and beat Jamie. I don't see, like, he's never went to a guy. This is one of the worst guys Mullarkey can fight. A guy who hits hard, never been to a decision, is gonna fucking throw down with him. So, unless Ruffy feels the moment and he tenses up, he should be walking away for a victory here. So, I'm gonna go Mauricio Ruffy by knockout in the first. Should be able to crack that very weak chin of Jamie Mullarkey. So, that's what I'm gonna go with. Could Mullarkey get the upset? Sure. If he fought smart, takedowns maybe. Like, 'cause he did take down Prado, but did he really? I don't know if his ground game's good. He just was able to get him down. He can do a basic takedown. So, yeah, but I'm gonna go Ruffy, knock him out, and that should be that. So, Ruffy by knockout in the first should not be the toughest debut for him. And for our featured early prelim, we have a battle of 2 veterans. You'd be shocked to know which one's the older one, because it's not who you think it is. As in our featured prelim, we have in the lightweight division again, man, a lot of lightweights. Joaquim Neto BJJ Silva versus Drakkar Klose. Like I said, we have the battle of 2 veterans here. Shockingly, Klose is the older guy, which you'd never predict, but it's weird like that. He's definitely, I don't think, close to retirement like Silva. But speaking of Silva, let's talk about him. Neto BJJ in the UFC is 6-4. His wins are that guy: Andrew Holbrook, Raza Madi, Jared Gordon, Jesse Ronson, and Clay Guida. His losses are Vince Pichel, Nazrat Haqparas, Ricky Glenn, and Arman Tsarukyan. Yeah, he's been fighting a lot more lately, and he has been looking good. Like, we all know that Arman fight, he did have a lot of good moments. He rocked Arman, just really looked great. I still say He looked so decent in that fight because Armand did just overlook him to the 9th degree, which was stupid. But that's Armand's fight. That's Armand's fault. You can't blame anyone else for that. But yeah, Silva at 35 years old is still fighting at a very high level. Like in the Clay Guida fight, he looked good. Like I know a lot of Elves, but he's not looking bad in these fights. He finished Ronson. He looked good against Guida. He fucking Ricky and Nazareth finished him, but shit happens. So yeah, he's getting older though. He's getting closer to retirement. This might be his retirement fight. You never know. But yeah, he's still fighting at a decent level. His striking's good. His ground game's good. It's not bad. He's not bad. He's, like I said, for 35 years old at lightweight, I've seen worse. He's still kicking, man. He's still doing good. We talk about his opponent, Drakkar Klose. Klose in the UFC is 8-2. He's had that many fights. His wins: Devin Powell, Mark Diakese, Orlando Venata, Bobby Green, Christoph Giagos, Brandon Jenkins, Rafa Garcia, and Joe Selecki. His 2 losses are David Tamer and Benil Dariush. Yeah, he's been in the UFC for a minute now. It's weird how long he's been in the UFC. Like, he did take some long breaks, like only one fight between 2020 and fucking, like, 2022. But he's starting to fight consistently again on a 3-fight winning streak, coming off that insane slam knockout of Joe Selecki. He's looking good. He looked great against Jenkins. He looked good against Hoffa, looked good against Selecki. He's looking good. 36 years old, he's really not showing it. Like, is he fighting the toughest of competition? Not really. Like, let's be honest, how tough is, like, the toughest one of those fights is Hoffa Garcia, and that was the toughest fight he had, but it was no, like, fucking, like, impossible fight. So, yeah, I don't know. Klose is looking good, coming off a nice finish. Yeah, can't really say much else, man. Fighting a tough veteran in Silva. We'll see how he does here. It's gonna be interesting. This is definitely not gonna be this is definitely a step up from who he's been fighting. So let's see how he does. Got good power. Got ground game. His chin. We've not really got to see that tested lately, like we did against Benil and all that. But yeah. Not really much else to say about Drakkar Klose. The betting odds for his height have Drakkar Klose -190 to +160. I don't know if I would have him that high of a favorite. I might move him down to I would probably move him down to maybe a -170 +150. Yeah. There's definitely, I could see Silva winning this fight. Like, he, again, fighting really good for 35 years old. If it is his last fight, he's gonna go all out. He could crack that chin of Klose. He's not bad on the ground. It's not that fucking wide of a fight. Like, both guys are fighting at a very high level for their age right now, and we'll see which old man can get the W. I'm gonna lean with Drakkar Klose. I think he should be able to win this fight. Joaquim, if Silva did get the upset, would I be shocked? No, but I don't see it. Like, do I think he's gonna knock out Klose? Probably not. Do I think he's gonna out grapple or wrestle Klose? Not really. So, who do I think has better cardio? Probably Klose. So, we'll see. I'm gonna go with Drakkar Klose. I think he should be able to win this fight. And, yeah, I'm gonna go Klose by decision. It's definitely maybe the most closest fight on the card, pun intended. But, yeah, I'm gonna go Drakkar by decision. I could see the upset happening. I wouldn't be shocked if it did. But, I'm gonna say it doesn't happen. So, Drakkar Klose by decision. Those are the early prelims. Not bad. Starts off pretty good. And then it's alright the rest of the way. But, yeah. Now we head into the real prelims, which are not bad. Not bad at all. As we begin the prelims with a fight in the feather weight division, we have Jean Lord Assassin Silva versus William Jagger Gomez. I'm not gonna say much on this fight. William Gomez. Jean in the UFC is 1-0, coming off Contender Series. He looked alright on Contender Series. He looked great in his debut against Weston Wilson, but how do you not look great in your debut against Weston Wilson? He's part of the Fighting Nerds with Caio and Ruffy, so it's pretty cool for him to be on the card with those guys in Brazil. And yeah, he's a weird guy. He's a weird fighter. Hits hard, fights like a psychopath. Gonna be an interesting fight to see how he does here. Step up in competition, kind of, and we'll see how he does at home against Gomez. Not gonna talk about William Gomez. I think dude fucking sucks. Like, he's a complete fraud. Boring. He lost that fight. He won by nut shot in that fight. He's not good. William Gomez is trash, and even if he doesn't win this fight, you beat a fraud. So hopefully Gene wins. I'm picking Gene Silva no matter what. Fuck Gomez. How am I gonna pick Silva to win? Fuck it. I want to see him. Gene, go out there and knock out Gomez. Fuck it. I think that's my only biased pick of the night. So fuck it. Give me Gene Silva by knockout in the first. Go blitz this dude and knock the fuck out, because that'd be beautiful to see. So I'm going Gene Silva by knockout in the first. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, but I'm gonna hope it happens. So do it. After that, we had one of the best fights of the night. I can't wait for this. Can't wait for this fight. Gonna be such a banger in the lightweight division, as we have Elves Brener versus Myktybek Orolbai. I don't know how to say it, but this is gonna be a banger. I can't fucking wait for this fight. Two amazing fighters and prospects gonna throw down. Let's see who gets to win. Let's talk about Elves Brener first. Brener in the UFC is 3-0, really 2-1. In his UFC debut, he got gifted a robbery win against the Barrett Hugov, and then in his last two fights, he's finished Guram Kutaladze and Kenan Kushevsky. Yeah, he's looked great in his last two fights. Again, that was a complete robbery against Hugov, but in his last two fights, he's looked great, ending the hype train of Guram, and then flatlining K9 very quickly, brutally. Dude looked great. He's a Shooterbox member, so he does have just a crazy style. He's gonna elbow you, he's gonna throw up submissions, he's gonna fight like a psychopath. That's what Charles does. That's what the rest of them do. That's just how they do it, man. But Brener is very good. He does seem like he's one of the better fighters to come from Shooterbox, not named Charles Oliveira. Because besides him, like, Al Nascimento's good. Just who the fuck out? Well, she sucks. Dino Santos is good. He hasn't fought in a while, though. So they got some good fights, but it definitely seems like Brener might be the best fighter not named Charles there right now. So if he can get another one here, he really can stamp that claim pretty solidly, but it's not an easy fight. But you can also look at it, he's already been in a fight like this where he's fighting a very hyped up guy when he fought Guram. So we'll see. He's 2-0 against dudes with really long names. No, but yeah, Brener's already been in this position, and he already fought in Brazil. He did against K9, so he already got that out of his system. We'll see if he can upset the very hyped up prospect, because if anyone could do it, Elvis is a really good option. He's really good. Do you talk about his opponent, Myktybek? I'm gonna say his name wrong 100 times. I don't care. Get mad. Orolbai in the UFC is 1-0, coming in on short notice to fight Euros Medic up a weight class. He looked amazing. He did get rocked a little bit, but he recovered, took him down, and subbed him. It's scary that was really only a little bit of his ability, because we really didn't get to see his striking, because he didn't want to strike with Euros, which is smart. We see last week why. But this week we're probably going to have to see more of his striking, which he has more finishes on the feet than he does the ground, 6-5. So I think he's a very scary fighter. That, again, against a guy who's as good as Euros Medic, he was able to come in on short notice and smash up a weight class, and now he's back down on no camp. Now he's back down to his regular weight class, and we didn't even get to see half of his potential, I believe. So he's only 26 years old. He could be one of the scariest fighters in the division that we don't even fucking really know how good he is yet. Could this age really badly Saturday night? Yes. But I don't know if it will, man. Like, Elvis, it's hard to pick against Elvis Brener, but if there's any unranked guy you could really make the case for, you're looking at one of them. So this is an amazing fight. This is just such an amazing fight. Two great prospects. The winner gets a giant boost. The loser, even a loser doesn't lose much stock because you lost to a great fighter. This can be intriguing. The betting odds have my tech B at -260 to +210. I think that's a little bit of a reach. I don't know if I would have him that big of a favorite. I'd probably move him down to maybe more -190, 195. Let's not forget, Brener is really good, and more importantly, he's tough as shit. We saw in the Guram fight. We saw that in we saw that in Guram fight. He's tough as fuck, and he's not gonna be a cakewalk. So, but if he does get beat easily, dude, how good is Orolbai? Like, that's scary to think about. So, who's my pick? I'm gonna go my tech B. Fuck you. I wish your name was easier. But, yeah, I'm gonna go Orolbai by decision. I don't see a finish in this fight. No, well, let me rephrase that. I'm not going to predict a finish in this fight, because I don't know how the fuck it's gonna go. Like, on the feet, they might be even. Maybe Orolbai has the advantage. On the ground, good luck. I don't want to know who's better there, because that's going to be a pain to predict. This is a fight where I just sit back and watch as a fan. Who wins? I don't care. Have a great fight. Let's see these two great prospects go to war. I'm going to go my tech back by decision. Who knows what's going to happen? We could see these two in the top 15 sooner than later. If they're that good. Let's see what happens. Orolbai by decision. After that, we get to a fight that's barely even, should not even be allowed, and it's like just sad more than anything. But it's a fight, and at least it's gonna get a very young fighter into the rankings, as we have in our third fight of the prelims, our co-main of the prelims in the strawweight division, Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Iasmin Lucindo. Yeah, this is just sad. Like, I'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, this I think we know how this fight's gonna go, but I'll still break it down a little bit. So let's start with the OG, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Karolina in the UFC is 9-2, really having a career resurgence. Some of her wins are Randa Marcos, Heather Clark, Slug Rose, Felice Herring twice, Silvia Gomez Suarez, Vanessa Demopoulos, and Diana Belbita. Her losses are Joanna, Claudia Gadelia, Andrade, Waterson, Grasso, Jan, and Panay. Yeah, she's really having a career resurgence, like 4 in a row over the last 2 years. Have they had to give her pretty much some weak competition to do that? Yes. Like, one of your hardest fight is Silvia Gomez Suarez. It's like, and Vanessa Demopoulos, it's like, really. Like, has she looked phenomenal in these fights? Not really. She dominated Felice Herring. What's Felice Herring? The Gomez fight was close. Maybe she didn't even win that fight, in my opinion. Demopoulos, that was actually her best performance. Man. She dominated Vanessa. Vanessa just looked pretty bad. And then she beat Diana Belbita in a close but clear fight. So, like, she definitely still got some ability, but she's definitely been fighting the close to the bottom of the barrel, or for two of them, I would say the bottom of the barrel. So, like, it's cool to see her revive her career, because she probably should have been cut after losing 5 in a row. But she's back on a winning streak, back to being ranked in the top 15 at 38 years old. Gotta respect it. She worked her way back. So, yeah. She's still fighting at an okay level, but that probably is about to come crashing down. Because her opponent is Iasmin Lucindo, who, if you know Iasmin Lucindo, you know she's really fucking good. Iasmin in UFC is 2-1. Her 2 wins are Brogan Walker and Payana Viana. Her 1 loss is to Yasmin Hagui in her debut. I think we all remember that insane fight where they just went to fucking war and on the main card in their debuts. It was fucking awesome. So I think we all remember that, and for a reason. It was that good and just showed how good these two are in their debut. Since Iasmin has went 2-0, smashing Brogan Walker and Payana Viana. Very low level competition, but she's looked good. She's been able to bounce back since her debut lost, and now she's getting a ranked opportunity. Yeah, she's very good. Her striking's great. Her ground game's good. She's really solid. 22 to be 22 years old and be this good. It's scary that she's only 22 and this talented already. So, and with a very, very good record, and like not that inexperienced for how young she is. So she's good, man. She's a problem. Her, like, fuck, right now, who's in a better position from their debut? Probably Iasmin's in a better position than Iasmin. So, which you would have never thought, but whatever. Either way, Iasmin's really fucking good. The balance for this fight has Iasmin Lucindo minus 350 to plus 275. I completely agree. You could have her up to 500. Even, fuck, if you want to get crazy, you can say 600. For the main reason, 16-year age difference. That's insane. That's one of the widest age differences I've ever seen. That might be the biggest age difference in UFC history. Like, we've seen the 10-year, 12-year even, 16 fucking years. That's insane. Like, that's fucked. Like, that's insane. That's truly insane. But that's UFC does their thing, and yeah, Iasmin should win this fight. If you lose to a 38-year-old Karolina Kowalkiewicz in Brazil, come on, Iasmin, I expect better. But I don't think she's going to. I think she should be able to beat Karolina. She's a better fighter now. She might have been a better fighter in Karolina's prime, but especially now when Karolina's older by 16 years and going into enemy territory, it should be an easy win for Iasmin. I think the toughest part of this fight is, does Iasmin get a finish? Karolina is tough. I actually think this is probably gonna look a lot like the I think it's probably gonna look a lot like this fight where Jan just beat the shit out of Karolina for 15 minutes. I think that's probably what's gonna happen here. I think Iasmin's just gonna beat the fuck out of Karolina, and it's gonna be sad after a while. But UFC wanted to do this, they did it. So I'm gonna go Iasmin Lucindo by decision. Definitely one of the most confident picks of the night. If you choke this, then you really are just a fraud. But I don't think she's gonna choke this. It should be a quick night. Quick, fun night in the office for her to get a win at home. And that's what I think is going to happen. So I'm going Iasmin Lucindo by decision. See what happens. 16-year age difference. Insane. And now to our featured prelim. Going back to the featherweight division, we have a fun fight between two very good fighters, but I definitely think one's better than the other. As in our featured prelim, we have Joanderson, Tubaro Brito versus Jack Tank Shore. Very good fight here. Two good prospects in the featherweight division. The winner definitely should be getting a ranking fight, or even a ranking. But let's see what happens. Let's start with Joanderson Brito. Brito in the UFC is 4-1. I swear he's had more fights than that. His 4 wins are Andre Fili, Lucas Alexander, Weston Wilson, and JSP. His 1 loss is Bill Algeo. Fuck, I didn't even know that. Like, I knew Lopez was on Contender Series. I did not know it was Joe. I forgot it was Brito. has that aged great? Goddamn. Yeah, and Brito has looked great in the UFC since his debut. Running through his first 3 wins, and then he was having some problems against JSP, but JSP got overconfident and got himself subbed, which was really impressive. Yeah, Brito's really good. He's really good on the feet. Ground game's not bad. He's a really good fighter, and he goes shoot the box. I didn't know that. He's really good, getting better. Definitely, I think is going to be a ranked fighter sooner than later. He shows all the potential. He's very well-rounded, and I think he's going to be a problem for a lot of fighters. He has the power in the ground game. Cardio, we've not really need to see his cardio yet, because he's just been getting finishes. So we'll see if we'll need to see his cardio anytime soon. Maybe even in this fight, I wouldn't be shocked. But so far in the UFC, he's looked great outside of his debut, where it was clearly just an off night. That has been proven more and more throughout the since. So, plus Bellagio's not a bad guy to lose to anyway. Not like you lost to some bad fighter, but still, it was clearly an off night. To talk about his opponent, Jack Shore. Jack in the UFC is 6-1. His 6 wins are that guy: Aaron Phillips, Hunter Azure, Ludwig Shololian, Timur Valiev, Ricky, and Makwan Americani. His only loss is to Ricky Simone. Jack has been a weird dude. I was on the Jack hype train for a minute, but I don't know. The Ricky fight really showed a lot of problems in his game. He is very one-dimensional. Even the Timur fight showed a lot of problems. He can't strike. If he can't take you down, he can't beat you. And that's why Timur gave him a lot of problems, and that's why Ricky beat him. And unless he's gotten better in the last year, because he was pretty much the same guy against Makwan, I think he's going to be one of those guys who just never get better. I know he's still very young. He's only 29. But you've been in the UFC this long, and you're still very, very one-dimensional. As of last time we saw you fight, I expect a little better. I really do. We'll see if he can fucking show some more improvements in this fight, but I doubt it, because he's gonna want to take Brito down. He's not gonna want to strike with him. So, does Jack have talent? Yes, the ground game is really good. But when you're starting, his problem is when he starts fighting these higher echelon guys like Timur and Ricky, he's looked bad. He did not look great in that Timur fight. I remember him getting rocked getting rocked and shit. And he got smashed by Ricky, Ricky's a great fighter, but still. And then he moved up. This is his second fight at featherweight, which is, I do think the move up was needed to an extent, because he was kind of a big bantamweight. But, we'll see. We'll see how he does against a really tough opponent in Brito. If he can look good here, show some development in his game, he shut me up. But as of right now, I swear I've just seen the same dude for, how long has he been in UFC now? Fucking 5 years? 5-6 years? So, I feel like I've just seen the same dude. He still has bare minimum striking, and all he can really do is take you down. Until I see more than that, it's hard for me to get back on the Shore hype train. The betting odds for his fight have Joanderson Brito minus 165, 165 to plus 140. I'd move him up a little bit. I would have him about maybe 180 at the most. Who do I actually think's a better fighter? I think Joanderson Brito. He's not a slouch on the ground. He subbed who I think's probably just a better fucking Jack Shore and JSP. A bigger, better Jack Shore. In the striking department, I think he's levels above Jack Shore, and from what I've seen, and I think he's again just a better fighter. If Jack comes in here and shows some striking, then cool, you shut me up. But right now, I just think this kind of is a one-dimensional fighter versus a well-rounded fighter, and Jack Shore is not the well-rounded fighter. So my pick here is going to be Joanderson Brito. I've had the same opinion on this fight since it got booked. I just don't think this is a good fight for Jack. I think Brito will stop the takedowns or even fucking reverse them and probably be able to beat up Jack. So I might have a pretty shocking prediction here. I'm feeling Joanderson Brito by knockout in the second. I think he'll be able to drop Jack in round 1 or 2 and finish him, or he does what Ricky did and jump on a submission. So I'm gonna go Joanderson Brito by knockout in the second. That's what I'm feeling right now. Maybe I change it, I doubt it, but that's what I'm getting. That's what I feel is my pick right now. So that's what I'm gonna say it is. So yeah, Joanderson Brito by knockout in the second. I just don't think Jack Shore. Could Jack Shore be a good underdog play here? I guess, but you either think Brito is a fucking plank of wood and just sucks on the ground, or you think Jack Shore has got better on the feet. And I don't think either of those things are true, so we'll see, but I'm going Brito by knockout in a second. That's about all I can say on this fight, and all I will say on that fight. Those are the prelims. Fun prelims. 3 good fights to end them. One of the best fights on a card on them. And just if you look at the prelims as a whole, like, really no bad fights. Could get some finishes, could have some bangers. We'll see. But now we get on to the main card, which is not worth $80. Don't buy this. Don't make the UFC think this is okay to give us shit pay-per-views like this. But, whatever. I doubt anyone's gonna buy it anyway. Does anyone buy pay-per-views? But enough about that. Let's get into the main card already. 56 minutes in. At the beginning of the main card in the middleweight division with a very intriguing matchup, even if it's going to be pretty clear how this goes, between Paul Bearju Craig versus Caio the Natural Borrelio. A Paul Craig fight on a pay-per-view. Fucking Christ. Christ. Yeah, this card sucks. Let's talk about Paul Craig real quick. Don't gotta say much. I think we all know Paul Craig by now. How would you describe Paul Craig's style? He can't fight. He's not a fighter. He can't throw a punch. He can't take a punch. He can't shoot a takedown. He can't stop a takedown. All he does is fucking pull guard, and he hopes he can submit you. Simple as that. He's not good. He's a terrible fucking fighter. He just throws up a lucky submission and gets it from time to time. That's it. He's not good. So he's one of the most annoying and worst fighters in the UFC. Because he's not even a fighter. Again, he just fucking lays on his back. Let me sub you, please. It's like, bro, come on. Learn how to actually fucking fight, pussy. So, and it's still the funniest thing in the world how he acts like this fucking tough dude. Grrr. When you can't fucking throw a punch. So, when your fighting style is laying on your back like a fucking bitch. So, yeah, Paul Craig's a joke. I think we all know that by now. To talk about his opponent, Caio Borrelio. Caio in the UFC is 5-0. His 5 wins are Gadzi Omegadziev, Armen Petrosian, Makhmud Muradov, Michael Olesheshek, and Abus Magomedov. Yeah, he's looked flawless in the UFC. Like, I don't remember him ever looking bad. And like, his worst performance was probably the Muradov fight, and even then, he looked good. And he did not look terrible in that fight. In his other 4 fights, he's looked great. He's just a great fighter. He's shown in the Boost fight. He showed more of his striking ability. It's not great. It's definitely a weak striking ability, but it's getting better. We know his ground game is his bread and butter, but in this fight, he's probably not going to want to use that too much because who he's fighting. So I could see it being a lot like, well, I don't know what fight it's going to be like, but I definitely think we're going to see more of his striking in this fight. Because if he wants to play for the fire and go to the ground with Paul Craig, he can. I don't think that's a good idea. Especially, like, Brandon Allen's able to do it, but Brandon Allen's an experienced veteran. Caio is still young, learning. I don't think he should take it to the ground. I think if he wants to be smart, he keeps it standing. Will that be boring? Yes, because he's not going to finish Paul Craig on feet. But it's the smart. If he wants to win this fight, that's how you do it. You fucking, every time he pulls guard, you just get up. You fucking fight smart. You stop his takedowns and you just fucking beat him. You beat him up on the feet. He'll like Caio again. Caio's not a great striker. He'll look like fucking Anderson Silva against Paul Craig. So just keep it standing and win an easy fight. I don't see why you'd play with fire and go to the ground with Paul Craig. That just seems like a really bad idea. So don't do it. Simple. The betting odds for this fight have Caio Borrello minus 450 to plus 340. I agree. Again, it's a normal Paul Craig fight. The only threat is him throwing up a lucky submission and getting it. We've seen it 100 times before. Well, we could see it again. If Caio does go to the ground, you're definitely going to be sweating bullets every second. But if Caio is smart, he keeps it standard. So, yeah. My pick here is going to be Caio Borrello. Just a way better fighter. He has more skills than throwing up a lucky submission and getting it. So, yeah, I'm just going to go Caio Borrello to get an easy win here. Keep it standing. It's going to be boring, but it's a smart way to fight. And if he wants to get a big win, climb the rankings at home in Brazil, that's what you do. So, yeah, I'm going Caio Borrello by decision. Fight smart, dude. It's not too difficult. After that, we head to our second fight of the main card, the easiest fight on the card to predict, and the only fight that has been subject to change so far on the card, knock on wood, as we stay at middleweight for a very, like I said, the easiest fight on the card to predict, as we have Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria. Not gonna waste your time on this fight. This is actually meant to be Michel Pereira versus, I believe, Makhmud Muradov. I'm correct, but Muradov pulled out, and funny enough, he literally got cut today from the UFC, so bye, I guess. But, yeah, Michel Pereira is gonna win this fight easily. He is the lock of the night. There's no way he loses. Well, no, I take it back. The only way he loses this fight is if he gasses out. But he's not gonna. He's gonna finish Ihor in the first round. So, Ihor is a terrible fighter. He's a terrible fighter. His career highlight is that fucking bullshit against Shogun, which is actually this super karma that his biggest fight of his career now is on a pay-per-view in Brazil, and he's going to get fucking ran over. So that's for disrespecting Shogun, you piece of shit. So, yeah, I'm on Michel Pereira by knockout in the first, the lock for the night. The dude has looked great at middleweight so far. Gonna go 3-0, and this is his easiest fight at middleweight. Step down from Petrosky and Oleszejczuk. So, should be a quick, easy win for Michel. Get a quick bonus and move on to the next one. Simple as that. Michel Pereira, my lock for the night by knockout in the first. After that, we head to our third fight of the main card, going up to the light heavyweight division this time for another fight, like the third main card fight, that is very one-sided, and that's the theme of the main card for the first three fights. And we have, in our third fight of the main card, Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Vitor Icao Petrino. Just like the first two fights of the main card, this is another one where a veteran or a can, if you're Ihor, gets fed to the young Brazilian fighter. So, yeah, not gonna say much on this fight. Not gonna say much about Anthony Smith, because on paper he's the greatest fighter to ever live. But in reality, he fucking sucks. He was never good, and he's somehow worse now. So, he's old, he should retire, he's not good. And, yeah, on paper, he is one of the best ever. But he's just not. To talk about his opponent, Vitor Petrino. Vitor in the UFC is 4-0, coming out to Contender Series. In his 4 wins, he has beat Anton Takali, Marcin Prachnio, Modestas Bukauskas, and Tyson Pedro. Anthony Smith is definitely a giant leap up from those guys, but it should be a very easy leap up from him, because Petrino is really good. His striking is decent, he has really good power, he has good leg kicks on the ground, he's really good, really strong. Kind of same thing with Pereira. My main worry is if he gasses. So, which I don't think he will, because he looked like he wrestled for 15 minutes against Pedro and he looked good. Same thing with Prachnio almost, so. Like, the only time he's looked bad in the UFC was that Anton fight, and that was a debut. Anton's tough. It happens, but since he's looked pretty much flawless. He looked great against Prachnio, he looked great against Bukauskas, he looked great against Pedro 2 months ago, and he should easily look good against Anthony Smith, because Anthony Smith is 35 and not good. So, this should be a nice win for Vitor to get into, I believe, the top 10. I think Smith is ranked 9th at light heavyweight, and yeah, should be a good way for Petrino to get his first big win, like that, like as should as Anthony Smith is. It is a step up from Tyson Pedro and Modestas Bukauskas and shit. So yeah. The main odds for this fight have Vitor Petrino at minus 485. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Could Smith pull a rabbit out of his hat and have this be like the Jimmy Crute fight? Yeah, I guess. Could he fraud check the kid? Of course. Do I think he will? Fuck no. He's not looked good. The last time he looked good was in 2021 against Ryan Spann, who sucks. Ever since he got smashed by Ank, smashed by Walker, barely beat Spann, and got smashed by Clue. So, I see this being like the Ankalaev fight. I think Petrino should just be able to take him down and hold him there. He's the smaller dude in like size, but he's definitely the stronger dude. He's a giant, and he's the younger dude. So, yeah, Vitor should be able to get the win here. I'd be shocked if he didn't. I'd be shocked if he got fraud checked here, and yeah, I just really don't see that happening. So, I'm going Vitor Petrino by decision. Maybe he finishes him. I wouldn't be too shocked, but I'm gonna go. I think he's probably gonna wrestle him for 15 minutes, or he does win on the feet, and he might get a finish. You never know. Anthony's durability is getting worse and worse by fight, so you never know what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna go Vitor Petrino by decision. Should win pretty easily, man. But on paper, I'm gonna rip that paper up because Anthony Smith fucking sucks. To go into after that, we have our co-main event of the evening, a fight that if I told you this fight before I got booked, you would think I'm a fucking idiot, but it's real, it's gonna happen. Why, I really don't know, but UFC. And then our co-main event of the evening in the bantamweight division, we have Jonathan Dragon Martinez versus the King of Rio, Jose Aldo Jr. Yeah, for some reason Aldo's back. UFC had to dig him up to sell 4 pay-per-views, like I said earlier, which is sad. But yeah, Aldo's back. At least he's not gonna retire on losing to Marab, cause like, ew. But yeah, this could go really bad, and this could be really sad. But you never know. It's the King of Rio. Anything could happen. We'll see. Let's talk about Jonathan Martinez first, who I'm so happy is getting the pay-per-view spot. Martinez in UFC is 10-3, and yeah, his UFC career at first was really odd, but ever since 2021, like ever since that David Grant fight, he just woke up and said, nah, I'm gonna do my thing, and he's knocked off 6 in a row, beating Zavid, no idea who that even is, Perez, Vince Morales, Cub Swanson, Saeed, and Yanez. He has been one of the most underrated fighters for a long time, and again, I'm so happy he's getting the spotlight he deserves, because he is a great fighter. Like, his main problem in his early UFC career is he could never stay consistent and fight at his best. But in his last 6 fights, outside the Saeed fight, which was really close, but again, Saeed and Magomedov, you can't get mad at that. He's looked great. He's fought at his level, fought at his best, and you see where it's gotten to a co-main event in Brazil. If he wins this, that'd be 7 in a row at bantamweight. Like I'm happy for the kid. I've seen the potential of Martinez for a long time now, and I'm happy he's finally capitalizing on it and showing. I was not just fucking imagining all this talent that this dude does have, because he does have it. His leg kicks are great, his striking's good, he has good power, his ground game, he was able to stop, I think he stopped most of Saeed's takedowns, if not all of them, if I remember. So, dude looked great, like, he looked really good, and I'm happy for him, because again, I think the dude has had the ability, now he just has to keep fighting at his best as he fights the tougher guys, and let's see if he can get a giant win here. Yeah, this would be a giant feather in his cap. So, yeah. And to talk about his opponent, I really need to say much about Jose fucking Aldo? No. But I will say a little bit. Yeah, Aldo is back from retirement and going into the Hall of Fame. He took a 2-year break. He did 3 boxing matches. Went 2-0-1. I guess that's good, but I heard he didn't look good in those. So, how washed is he? Is the question of the day with this fight. He is 37 years old, which is crazy that he's not in his 40s. And, like, we've seen him slow down in UFC. Like, he was still fighting at a good level when he retired. But like, he's definitely slowing down. And, like, even like a slowed down, older Aldo can still win fights, but you gotta look who he's winning against. Pedro Munoz, Rob Font, and Marlon Vera. 3 fighters who are okay. Cheeto, he pretty much just wrestled, if I remember. Pedro and Font I don't look at in high regards. He looked terrible against Marab, but who looks good against Marab? So, like, he's not... we all know he's washed. Do I think he, like... Is he, like, washed, like a Tony Ferguson? Fuck no. But he's definitely not Aldo of old. He's just old. Like, he can still fight, but he's slow. He's going to be slow. His kicks are going to be slower. His power will still be there to an extent, but how great will it be? His cardio will be off. And his cardio has never been a strong suit of his, especially lately. So guys who push a great pace, like Max and Marab, have been able to beat him for that reason. We'll see how he does here. They gave him not a terrible matchup. I wish it was Dominic Cruz, because we want to see that fight, everyone does, but it happens. I'm happy he's not fighting fucking Umar, or fucking, fucking Corey Sandhagen or some shit. I'm happy he's fighting Martinez, who Martinez is very good, but it's not an impossible win for Aldo, coming off a 2-year layoff. Umar, or Sandhagen, or fucking a Piotr rematch, that would have been like, okay, come on, man, what the fuck. But no, yeah, this is, like, this on paper, I don't know if it'll be an execution, but on paper, it's not the worst comeback fight for Aldo. So, yeah. The betting odds have Johnson Martinez minus 135 to plus 110. I'm actually shocked Martinez is a favorite. I'll have Martinez minus 150. Like, since this fight was booked, I've been going Martinez. I've not changed my mind. I think with how... Could Aldo turn back the clock and look good in this fight? Of course. Could he nullify the leg kicks of Martinez like he did Munoz? Of course. But do I think he will? We'll see. I think we know Martinez is going to be faster. We know he is way younger by 7 years. He's been fighting more often. All that shit. I don't think the moment's going to get to him. So it's just how good does... Like, this fight completely comes down to how good does Aldo look. If Aldo is still fighting at a decent level, we're going to be in for a really good fight. But if Aldo is very old and very washed, it's going to be sad. So, I'm going to go Johnson Martinez by decision. I think he's going to be able to... Like, I think round 1 will definitely be the most interesting round of the fight. That's actually really interesting. Round 1 will be the most interesting round of the fight, because that round 1 will tell you everything. Because round 2, you'll either see Aldo start gassing, or he'll look good. So, and Martinez has a good gas tank. The most sus thing about Martinez is his durability. We have seen his chin cracked before. He does not eat punches well, but against Aldo, I don't think that's your biggest priority. I think checking leg kicks and body shots are your biggest worry. Of course, Aldo will throw to the head, and he still does have power, but it's definitely not my biggest worry fighting Jose Aldo, especially in 2024. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm going Johnson Martinez. I think the kid will get a giant win here in Brazil, being the legend. I hope the judges don't fucking pull some bullshit. That's another thing I've not brought up. The judges could be biased. Yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued for this fight. But yeah, I'm going. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, I hope the judges don't pull bullshit on this card. We've seen judges be very biased in the UFC before, especially for the guy on the card. I hope they don't pull some bullshit. So, but either way, I'm excited for this fight. It should be interesting, and it could be really sad. But I'm going Johnson Martinez by decision. Let's see what happens. Now for a lame event of the evening. Steve, it's not your fault. It's this dumbasses. What, Alex? Pierre, you couldn't have come save this card. But in our main event of the evening for the UFC flyweight title, we have Alexandre the Cannibal Pantoja versus Steve Astro Boy Erceg. This is the main event of a pay-per-view. SMH. Not gonna say much here. Do I care about this fight? No. Don't like. It's the most forgettable champion fighting the 11th ranked fucking guy. So, yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. If it stays on feet, Erceg is gonna win easily. If it goes to the ground, boring Pantoja is gonna win. I'm going to Steve Erceg. I want to see a new champion. I think flyweight needs it because no one gives a flying fuck about Alexandre Pantoja. He's boring and forgettable. Like, if Raquel Pennington wasn't champion, he'd be the most forgettable champion, and that says a lot. He is the worst flyweight champion of all time. I know people too, but you got DJ Cejudo, blah blah to fight with. Still, carry on a great legacy. Don't fucking ruin it, dickhead. So I'm gonna go Steve Erceg. Would be funny to see a great upset. The kid's really good. His ground he's taller than Pantoja. His ground game ain't terrible. His striking's better. I hope we see a new champion. I want to see a new champion. We need a new champion. Save 125. Steve Erceg by decision. Pantoja sucks. And no. Steve Erceg by decision. Judges, don't fucking rob him if he clearly wins. Boom. There's the card. To go over my picks one more time. Alessandro Costa by decision. Ismael Bonfim by knockout in the first. Diana Barbosa by submission in the first. Marcelo Ruffy by knockout in the first. Drakkar Klose by decision. Silva by knockout in the first. Orolbai by decision. Iasmin Lucindo by decision. Joanderson Brito by knockout in the second. Caio by decision. Michel Pereira by knockout in the first. Vitor Petrino by decision. Michel Pereira, my lock of the night, by knockout in the first. Vitor Petrino by decision. Johnson Martinez by decision. And Steve Erceg and New by decision. Bang. It's a card. It's a fight night. Like I said, I don't need to fucking say it any more times, but I will. It's a fight night. If don't pay $80 for this shit. Don't let the UFC think this is okay. This ain't a fucking pay-per-view. Like, 300 was a pay-per-view. 302, which is what I believe Islam and Poirier, that's more of a pay-per-view, and that's a fucking stupid main event. 303, the Conor card, that's a pay-per-view. This is a fucking fight night you want $80 for. Fuck you. That's bullshit. This should be a fucking fight night. And it's a shame that, like, I feel bad for the Brazilians to an extent that they're getting this shit as a pay-per-view. It's like, no Pereira, no one they actually care about outside of Aldo. Wow. Like, we have Pereira on the card. It's the wrong one. So, jokes aside, it's a card. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it shuts me up like the Perez card did last week. But I'm not going to hold my breath. So, whatever. I'm going to watch the card, and I'll tell you what I saw of it Sunday, 1 p.m. EST. Probably not. Probably Sunday, sometime EST. Because, you know me. I'll try and get out on time. I make no promises. Probably won't be able to keep it. But no, I'll try. Sunday the recap will come out. I'll try and get out on time, but you never know. So. But unless I'm going to say something, I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. I don't know, I feel a little weird this breakdown. I think could have been better. I think I rambled a lot. I think I said a lot without saying a lot. I don't know, it's weird. I enjoy. I always enjoy making videos. I hope you all enjoy them. So. I know it's low quality garbage. It's just some idiot talking into a mic, looking at Tapology for an hour. But that's what you can get with me. I don't do tape study. I don't do anything like that. I just talk about MMA because I fucking love the sport, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care what anyone says. If you don't like it, don't watch, bitch. Yeah. I really don't got much else to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. You'll hear from me again Sunday for a recap of this card. And as always, RX out. Good vibes only and always.